Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to show you how to make a no-bake eclair dessert, or like a eclair no-bake cake, whatever you want to call it. It's easy and simple, and it's wonderful for a gathering, a weekend gathering, or a holiday, or anything, anytime really. Let me run you through the list of ingredients. What you'll need is some vanilla pudding. Now, I'm just using store-bought instant vanilla pudding today, and you'll need some whole milk to go with it, but I'll talk about this in a minute. You'll need unsalted butter, granulated sugar, cocoa powder unsweetened, salt, a little more milk, some vanilla extract, some graham crackers, and you're also going to need some whipped cream. Now, I've shared with you, I think over a year ago, how to make your own vanilla pudding mix to have on hand. I didn't have any left over, and I couldn't find the dry milk powder in my grocery store. Otherwise, I would have used my own, but that's a cook and serve. So you'd have to cook it, pop it in the fridge, and let it cool completely before you went ahead and used it. But if I had it on hand, that's what I would have used, but I don't. So I'm just using instant store-bought vanilla pudding. It works perfectly here, not a problem at all. What I'm gonna do to it, and I'll leave instructions for how to make this portion with my homemade vanilla pudding mix. That way you have it in the recipe. And I'm just gonna mix this together for just about a minute or so, or until all combined. It doesn't take very long at all, and it sets in about 5 minutes. So, and it has got really gorgeous, like deep color to it, like a deep golden color. My homemade doesn't have a color this vibrant of a yellow color, but you can always use a little bit of like food coloring if you want to. Okay, I'm just gonna set this aside. And while that sets, I'm actually going to switch and move on to the glaze. In a saucepan, I'm going to add my sugar, salt, and unsweetened cocoa powder, along with the milk. And I'm just going to bring this to a boil and let it boil for just a couple of minutes. Looks great. You don't want this to boil like really like vigorously over high heat, because it will burn. The chocolate and the sugar will burn. And now all you do is you add in the butter, and it's gonna melt. I just turned it off, by the way. And just a small splash of vanilla. Let me add that right in. I always like to add my vanilla at the last minute, because otherwise the alcohol is gonna cook out, and nobody wants that. And I'm just gonna whisk this until the butter is completely melted, and I'm just gonna let it set aside until we are ready for it, which will be in just a few minutes. All right, so pudding has thickened. All I'm gonna do is fold in my whipped cream. You can use Cool Whip if you want to take a shortcut, and really, absolutely, it's totally awesome. But I like to use homemade whipped cream. I just think it has better texture. I mean, homemade whipped cream is hard to beat. And all I'm gonna do is just kind of fold it. Fold it so I don't lose any of its beautiful volume. Okay, so we're pretty much ready. I've got my filling, got my crackers, got my topping. I'm good to go. All I've done is I've taken some graham crackers and I just kind of laid them in the bottom of a 9 by 13 inch baking pan, or any kind of casserole dish. Just make them fit. It doesn't have to be perfect. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of this filling. You don't need all of it. At this point, you just need about half. I'd say that's about half. Maybe the second layer might be a little more generous, but who is complaining? Certainly not me. And I'm just, as you can see, making it nice and even layer, side to side like so. And then you just take you make another layer of graham crackers right on top. Okay, and then you just take the remainder of your filling. I mean, how good is this gonna be when, like, on a weekend? Because you do need to set this in the fridge overnight. Like, how good is it gonna be tomorrow if you have people come over for dinner, just to know that you have a fabulous dessert in the fridge waiting for you? I mean, I love that. That's one of the reasons why I love anything that I can make ahead of time, because it allows me to spend time with my friends and family, which is what it's about, of course. But I also know that I've got an awesome dish ready in my back pocket. I love that. Okay, that's for me. And then just one last layer on the very top of the graham crackers. And now you just kind of pour this over the top. Okay, smooth out the top a little. And now this needs to go into your fridge overnight. So I don't cover it, because if I were to cover it, then what happens is the chocolate sticks to the plastic wrap. So I just make sure that the top shelf in my fridge has nothing in it. You certainly don't want this to sit next to like any raw chicken or any raw meat or anything like that. So I'm just gonna pop this in and show you what it looks like when it's all done. So my dessert was in the fridge overnight, and I let it completely set, and it's perfect and ready to go. I cut out a piece, which, as you always know, the first piece is always the wonkiest, which is the cook's treat. You don't have to present that to anyone if you don't want to. I don't really care, but it'll be my treat. The tip I can give you though is between slicing, between each cut, wipe off your knife on like a wet paper towel or something, so that you get nice, clean, and even cuts. Otherwise, it just ends up being a disaster. It'll taste good, but it's just not going to be the prettiest. I'm just going to take some of the glaze on top, but it's just gorgeous. It's perfectly layered. The graham crackers have softened, which is what you want it to do. And it's so good. It's like creamy. Oh, it's so good. I don't even know what else to say. It is so, it's so good. I wish I could have this all day, every day. As you can see, I'm one happy mama right now because this is like everything and more. And it was so easy. It's basically whipping a few things up, making a little sauce, layering it, and leaving it in the fridge. And I'm telling you, it's the best dessert ever with like little to no effort. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the written recipe. This bite is like waiting for me. I hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.